We're back with a special edition of Fast Money. You're looking at our hot list, so we're tackling the hottest trades in the market right now, which brings us to our next hot trade, the big reopening. Millions of Americans hitting the road this holiday weekend. In fact, 60% more people expected to travel this Memorial Day weekend compared to last year. NBC's Tom Costello is on the front lines of the reopening in Denver tonight. Tom.
Good evening from a beautiful evening here in Denver, Colorado, and Cherry Creek State Park, where we have seen a lot of people come out to enjoy a beautiful day in the sun and maybe get into the water as well. Nationwide, this is the day that we're seeing people finally escape from their homes after the COVID lockdown. Excited about the fact that 50% of the population now has had at least one dose. And with that, state parks are full, national parks are full, highways are full, 34 million people on the highways over this break. And then the airports are full. We had the busiest travel day since the pandemic on Thursday. Nearly 2 million people going through TSA checkpoints. Because of the sudden surge in people escaping their homes and anxious to travel, we have theme parks reporting they've got much better than expected and faster than expected recoveries underway. Same thing with the airlines. They simply don't have enough planes right now to keep up with the demand. They say it's going to take until the end of the summer to get enough planes to handle all of this demand, and every day that goes by, more people are vaccinated and more people really excited about the fact that the summer and the Great Escape is underway.
The Great Escape. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. Well, Victoria, how are you trading the travel trend? I feel like there's a lot of ways you could go here. Airlines, cruise ships, hotels, Airbnb. What do you make of the opportunity with this one?
So I think, Courtney, if you're looking for a short-term trade, then you could venture into some of those spaces. That's not really what we like to do at Crossmark. We like longer-term trends, longer-term holdings in the portfolio. So we think you can participate in the reopening trade by looking to see where you can get those longer-term trends. And it can be in multiple sectors, right? It could be in tech with data infrastructure, with part of the new infrastructure bill, with 5G. Where we think it's interesting to play, and it actually goes in along with airlines and hotels and cruise ships, is through the credit card space. So MasterCard, for us, is one of our favorite reopening trades. We own it in our portfolio. We see all the people that are going out. I think the reporter said 38 million people on the roads. They're going to be using their credit cards to pay for everything that they're doing, along with going to movie theaters and concerts and things like that. So we feel playing that space with more of a longer-term outlook with MasterCard will be more beneficial than trying to time the market on specific pure reopening trades.
All right, I hear you. Gosh, I miss concerts. That's probably the one big thing I really miss, country concerts. Delano, what do you think? What's your trade here for the big reopening?
Courtney, I think, you have to look at the airlines. So if you're going to get to your favorite retail spots, I know some well-off-to-do people would fly there. If you're going to get to, your favorite hotel, Airbnb, you're probably going to fly there. And we just mentioned the TSA throughput has been, going back to kind of climbing back towards their normalized numbers. Now almost at 2 million, I think back in 2019, 2.4 million at the same time yesterday. So we're seeing a lot of traveling going out. I know a lot of people, you just look on social media, you're seeing a lot of people getting finally to their favorite destination that they weren't able to go to over the past year. And that's something that I think is going to keep playing out. If you're looking at American Airlines, they're one of the ones that's kind of been trading really high over the past month. And I think that one that has a little bit more upside, if you look at it, is Delta, right? So Delta's been flattish, right? I think there's a little bit more upside in Delta there.
All right, Tim, what about you? Or you want to go with something traditional like airlines, cruises, or you want to maybe make me smile and pick a retail name? I mean, some of these retail numbers that we saw this week were really off the charts with reopening. And a lot of the executives are saying, look, people are back. They're buying dresses and dress shoes to go to these events, to go to these concerts. But I'm just wondering, is it going to be short-lived or is it going to be longer-lived? Is it just pent-up demand? What are you making of all these different trades?
Well, the first thing I think I need to know, and to make me smile, is you click your fingers, what's the concert you're going to, Courtney Reagan?
Oh,
I mean, if you could beam yourself.
Yeah, I got to go to a Brett Eldridge concert right away. Got to get there as fast as I can. Of course.
Top of my list, too.
Right? I knew it, right? It's around the 4th of July in Chicago. Just if you want to know, that's where we're going.
Or y'all come to Texas for the
or the Who.
There you go. That one too.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, as it relates to retail, and we've seen this, with Gap, for example. You get it either in Old Navy, which segment-wise is probably more focused on the stimulus and the package, but certainly reopening as it relates to Banana Republic and as it relates to even possibly Gap stores, seeing people back into business casual dynamics. I think that's been a huge driver. To me, where retail is not all that exciting here is, I think, whether it's Gap, whether it's even a Macy's, and we could have talked about some of these names in the Reddit short squeeze dynamic too segment. But I think you've really priced in an enormous amount of restructuring and recovery and some ability to actually navigate the e-commerce world or multiple quarters now for the first time. I would get back to really truly what this is about, people getting in their cars. I think it's the energy sector. I think demand for energy, which fell off a cliff for a lot of different reasons and also obviously for COVID, is something that people are underestimating. I think there's been a lack of investment in both traditional fossil fuels, but also even some of the renewables in this country. But most importantly, I think we're going to continue to see gas prices high. I think we're going to continue to see margins very high. And I think a lot of these companies have been run so that they actually are not spending it all on CapEx and actually more on OpEx and higher margins. So a Chevron, an EOG, and I like the oil service names as well. And I think Schlumberger is a name I've been long for 6 months. And I think it's got a long way to go to reprice back to current expectations for Brent, which I think are going to stay kind of north of 65 for the foreseeable future.
Energy is a really good one to point out. I'm sure a lot of people noticing the price at the pump. Victoria, we got to get you in on this. You're down in Texas. What do you make of energy as a trade here?
We're here in Houston, and so it does hurt my heart a little bit to say that we are not extremely positive on energy right now. But a lot of it is not just because we're in fear of the reopening trade not working or anything like that, but we also have concerns from the ESG side. We think that there's going to be a lot of cost involved and more regulation coming in. Some of the items that Europe has in place right now, we see possibly those coming over to the U.S. Over the next couple of years. And we think there's just a lot of obstacles right now for some of the oil and gas names that are out there. If we're going to look in a broader energy space, then we would look maybe more in the utility sector, like a Nextera, where you get wind and solar involved in that business. Then we think there's some opportunity there.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.